Quentin Tarantino, the enfant terrible of modern cinema whose dialogue crackles like gunfire and whose films pulse with pop culture reverence, has never been one to mince words, especially when it comes to his peers in the acting world. At 62, the director behind masterpieces like Pulp Fiction, Inglourious Bastard, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sat down for a candid chat on the Bret Easton Ellis podcast, where he dissected performances with the surgical precision of a film scholar wielding a switchblade. The conversation veered into controversial territory when Tarantino zeroed in on Paul Dano, branding the actor weak and uninteresting, in a takedown that has sent ripples through Tinseltown. But Dano wasn't the only one in the crosshairs. Tarantino extended his disdain to Owen Wilson and Matthew Lillard, revealing a hit list of performers he simply doesn't care for. In true Tarantino fashion, these barbs were laced with insight, irony, and a dash of what-if casting that left listeners buzzing, and some egos bruised. The crux of Tarantino's ire toward Dano stems from the 2007 period drama There Will Be Blood, Paul Thomas Anderson's oil-soaked epic that many hail as a top-tier American film. In it, Dano portrays the dual roles of twins Paul and Eli Sunday, cunning preachers entangled in a Faustian dance with Daniel Day-Lewis's tyrannical oilman Daniel Plainview. Day-Lewis's tour de force, growling, "I drink your milkshake," in a scene that's become meme immortality, elevates the movie to near perfection. But Tarantino argues Dano's contribution is the big, giant flaw, holding it back from the pantheon. There Will Be Blood would stand a good chance at being number 1 or 2 if it didn't have a big, giant flaw in it, and the flaw is Paul Dano, he proclaimed, his voice dripping with that signature southern drawl. He envisioned the film as a two-hander, a evenly matched showdown between titans, but dismissed Dano's work as lopsided. Dano is weak sauce, man. He is the weak sister. To drive the point home, Tarantino fantasized about recasting. Austin Butler would have been wonderful in that role. Dano is just such a weak, uninteresting guy. This isn't idle chatter. It's Tarantino dissecting craft with the fervor of a fanboy turned auteur. There Will Be Blood masterfully explores themes of greed, faith, and American manifest destiny, set against the dusty sprawl of early 20th century California. Day-Lewis's Plainview is a force of nature, brooding, explosive, a villain you can't look away from. Dano's Eli, with his fervent sermons and sly manipulations, should counterbalance that intensity, creating a biblical clash of wills. But Tarantino sees it as a mismatch, Dano's subtlety coming off as subdued rather than strategic. Enter Austin Butler, the Elvis phenom whose smoldering charisma lit up Tarantino's own Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as Tex Watson. Butler's chiseled intensity and vocal versatility could have injected the role with a feral edge, turning Eli into a predator worthy of Plainview's ire. It's classic Tarantino speculation, rewriting history through the lens of his obsessions, much like his love letters to blaxploitation or spaghetti westerns. The roast didn't stop with Dano. Tarantino turned his gaze to Owen Wilson, the laid-back Texan whose nasal drawl and hangdog charm have endeared him to audiences in hits like Wedding Crashers and The Night at the Museum series. "I don't care for Owen Wilson," Tarantino admitted flatly, then layered on irony. Wilson's a lead in Woody Allen's Midnight in Paris, one of Tarantino's all-time favorites. Imagine that, a director who worships Allen's whimsical time travel romp yet can't vibe with its wistful star. Wilson's appeal lies in his everyman relatability, that slacker wisdom masking deeper melancholy, but Tarantino seems to crave more bite, more volatility. It's as if Wilson's zen-like cool clashes with the director's preference for characters who erupt like volcanoes. Think Samuel L. Jackson's Jules in Pulp Fiction, quoting Ezekiel with gleeful menace. Matthew Lillard, the lanky screamer from Scream and Scooby-Doo, fared no better. "I don't care for Matthew Lillard," Tarantino added, perhaps eyeing Lillard's manic energy as too cartoonish for his grounded grit. Lillard's career is a wild ride. From the knife-wielding Stu Macker to the bumbling Shaggy, he's mastered the art of unhinged fun. But Tarantino, whose films teeter on violence's edge with dark humor, might find Lillard's exuberance overwhelming, lacking the coiled restraint of, say, a Christoph Waltz in Django Unchained. These picks reveal Tarantino's taste. Actors who simmer before boiling over, who infuse roles with intellectual menace or raw physicality. It's a director's prerogative, after all. His casts, from John Travolta's reinvention in Pulp Fiction to Jamie Foxx's whip-smart Django, have launched or revived careers. Tarantino's candor isn't new. He's long been Hollywood's unfiltered oracle, ranking films on Joe Rogan or debating metrics like the Bechdel test with fervor. This podcast dive, though, feels personal, a peek into the mind that birthed Reservoir Dogs' ear-slicing tension or Kill Bill's balletic revenge. Praising Butler ties back to their collaboration. In Once Upon a Time, in Hollywood, the 25-year-old then channeled Manson family menace with chilling precision, earning Tarantino's nod as a wonderful talent. It's high praise from a man who's worked with legends like Robert Forster and Uma Thurman, spotting potential amid the din. The fallout? Dano, ever the introvert, hasn't responded. His post-Blood roles in Little Women and The Batman showcase a quiet power Tarantino might begrudgingly admire on rewatch. Wilson and Lillard, battle-tested by rom-coms and horrors, likely shrug it off. After all, Tarantino's barbs are badges in cinephile circles. This rant sparks bigger questions. Who defines strong in acting? Is it bombast or nuance? Tarantino's lens favors the former, but cinema thrives on diversity. Dano's whisper can haunt as deeply as Day-Lewis's roar. In the end, Tarantino's takedown is less malice than manifesto, a love letter to cinema's peaks wrapped in constructive shade. As he preps his 10th and final film, these words remind us: the director who revolutionized nonlinear storytelling still cuts deepest with his tongue.